Hey, it's me, Marvin. Let's finish watching an episode of Second City called Splat, which I probably have given commentary on this episode, like, years previous. But it's probably one of my favorite episodes of the series because it's coming towards the end of the season and the series itself. And so by this point in time, you've gone through all the seasons, especially if you watch them back to back to back to back to back. You finally get to this point, you're just kind of like, whoa, you watch the girls change. And they're all at a point where they've evolved past the whole, okay, we date a different guy every week situation or phase, and now they're all they've stabilized more. And that's generally what happens to people over time. They go from like that, I'm here, kind of testing things to eventually just kind of stabilize, and that's what I'm seeing around a lot of my friends right now. A lot of them have stabilized. So they're not dating, a different person all the time, or not constantly single, or, they have kids, and, people have had kids, some of my friends have had kids since they were a kid, and, but now more of them are just, trying to build a family, trying to build something like a real foundation. That's what their life's more about. Even one of my close friends, one of my close coworkers, they just became a father, and so watching them transition from, constantly single or just in relationships, but not really anything that just really is like been cemented. It's a big change, and kind of like seeing that on Sex and the City, seeing these characters at the end, they've all partnered up and they're all in these, serious relationships where they actually depend on each other and create an actual life together is interesting. And then just them, okay, we're dating this person for a little while. It doesn't get too serious, and then for some reason it goes wrong because they did something stupid. It's interesting to kind of watch that. And so in this particular episode, Splat cares at a point where, everyone's been paired off. So Miranda's with Steve. It's been solidified this season. And now, they had a kid together first, and then they finally became a couple, after they kind of realized that they really want to be with each other. That's that. So, which is good. Charlotte, she finally met someone that was actually a right fit for her. And, can make her laugh. And wasn't what the ideal was. Trey was on the surface the ideal guy. But then when you really got to get to know him, you were like, this guy isn't going to do anything for her, really, in the long run. Not for her to really make her happy. And which is one of the biggest things is wanting a child. That's something that she wanted, and Trey didn't really feel like he needed that, but she needed that. I'm glad that Trey, towards the end, even though they didn't work out, he was like, if you want a child, this is something you should really go for, and I don't want to stand in your way for that, and I think that was the right thing to do. And so, anyway, and then Samantha, she met Smith. Smith's like, totally, he is and he isn't all the things that Samantha's been meeting up to this point. He is, because, she's dated some hot guys, some really hot guys and young guys through her course of the series, and he's a young hot thing, but at the same time, he's a lot more relationship oriented than all the other guys she's met before, including Richard, and I don't know what that one guy's name was that she dated for like a couple episodes and crossed from one season to the other. But anyway, so Splat, that's where all the girls are at. And so you got them all at the table, and there's several moments in this episode where it gets a little tense. It gets uncomfortable. And I think they did a good job of making that uncomfortability come through the screen, because there are several moments where like something came up and it was just generally uncomfortable, and you were like, then something would happen and would just break it, and you shift on to the next thing. And honestly, that's how life is. Life does not really give you any real breaks unless you're in a setting where it's just you and someone else, or just you in a particular group, and there's no outside distractions or interaction. Generally, whenever you want to really get into something deeper or something more deep-seated, it can be really hard to do that, because one, we're not really used to having deep-seated moments on a regular basis. I don't know about you, but I'm not. With my friends, I really don't. And then when I do have those moments, there's something that always curtails it. You know, whether I'm just having it in an environment, atmosphere that isn't conducive to it, whether I'm at work and I'm about to get into something and I really can't because of the limitations of work, or something comes up that's work related. You know, whatever it is, or you know, you're out somewhere and you're at a friend's house, and you're hanging out, whatever, but you're with other friends, and so you really can't talk, or get into greater detail about what really is affecting you. And so there's more limitations. There's always limitations, and it actually kind of shows up on the Splat episode. You know, Carrie can't really talk more to Alexander Petrovsky about whether she wants to go to Paris or not because they have to go to a party, or they have people over, or, you know, all these little limitations that come with any situation that you're in, especially one where you're trying to have, or you would love to have, that deeper moment, but you can't. So, you know, she decided on whether she wants to go to Paris. Now, I probably kind of lost my way somewhere along this, and to me, Carrie, no, she's at the point where, you know, she's dated, had, you know, 3 or 4 major relationships, 2 of them duplicate. So, you know, she had Big, she has Aiden, and eventually she goes out with, she's Big and Aiden twice, actually. Or several times. And eventually she goes out with, you know, is it Jack Burger? Is it Jack Burger? I just call him Burger, but I think his name is Jack. And that kind of goes around. It's not really her fault. She tries to make it work, but it doesn't. And, you know, when it finally does end, it's really out of her hands because he pretty much just leaves a note and says, okay, look, I can't handle this. It's over. And I can only imagine how, like, sudden and painful that is. And it also kind of makes you think about how I've ended things with guys, and I kind of sometimes feel so horrible. Like, it's not like I don't have a conscience, you know. I just don't always choose the right things to do or how to handle situations appropriately or in a real adult manner. I think I still treat a lot of situations like a kid, and I back out of them as quickly as I can because I just don't know how to really handle them. And it's always been easier just for me just to go, you know, because that's kind of like what I'm used to. I'm used to people just going on me, so I go on them now. And that's not really fair to them, but I just don't know how to handle it. You know, I really don't know the best way. I don't have enough courage to handle it in an adult fashion like I probably should. So, yeah. But yeah, no. And so, you know, so Carrie does that. Splat, you know, is at the point where she's going to decide, hey, either you're going to stay here or you're going to go with this guy to Paris. And it is very romantic, you know, he would go. You know, eventually she won't end up liking being in Paris with him because he won't really be as attentive as he is here in New York with her. So, anyway, just one of my favorite episodes. And that's that. I'm done. Bye. This is me, Marvin.